state hex is a put option on one's emotional state. Yes, I said that correct. And I'm going to explain that. First of all, we're going to briefly cover what is hex, and then what is state hex. And then we're going to take a look at put options briefly to just get a framework of what they are. And lastly, we're going to take a look at the psychology during a market cycle. And then we will get the whole picture to understand when somebody is staking hex, they're also getting a free put option on their emotional state. So, with that being said, if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it's good to frickin' see you. If you want to support the channel, you can check out some links down below. And if you like fitness-related stuff, you can check out the other YouTube channel. So, first of all, we're going to talk about hex. Then we're going to talk about the put option. And then we're going to talk about market psychology and understand how hex is a put option on one's emotional state. So, when we look at hex, very simply, you can think of hex as two things. You can buy hex and just hold it, or you can buy hex and stake it, right? That's just the case for a bunch of different types of cryptos. Now, when we understand the supply, that is where the value comes in. So with hex, the supply of hex, the number of coins, increases by 3.69% per year. So it increases around 3.25% per year. The supply goes up. The inflation of the coin increases. Well, what do we know about inflation in the physical world? Well, we know, and this is coming from the Fed economic data, right? So this is Fed St. Louis data. This is M1. This is just a money supply curve. And you get to see that the USD, the United States dollar, this is their money supply, right? So you have a fairly steady increase of it over time. And then you have this gigantic ramping up, something like 40+% of all USD was printed in the last 24-ish months, 30 months. You're like, what does that have to do with hex? Well, when you understand holding hex versus staking hex, then you'll understand why this is important. We have current inflation is around 8% in the United States. Who benefits from inflation? You're like, well, inflation's bad. Well, let me tell you who actually benefits. People who hold things that go up in value when more money is printed, right? What am I saying? A house. Houses go up in value. So people who own assets go up in value. They either sell those assets or they borrow against those assets, and then they get the inflation. Now, when we look at hex, you can hold it, which is like holding dollars, really stupid thing to do, right? Especially when the government is doing this, right? The government's just like, yeah, free money, right? To Ukraine and Pakistan studies and all this other fucking bullshit, right? All the other parts of the world and asset holders are getting, well, that's just for corruption purposes, right? But in the discussion we're here, without going down a rabbit hole or a rant, people who benefit from inflation are asset holders. When you go through and you stake your hex, you're effectively not holding it anymore, and you're kind of giving up your control of that. You are. And you can earn up to 38% on your hex. So remember that. Because now that 3.69%, that was the inflation factor for Hex. What happens to that, right? Because we know who benefits in this case, right? It's up 8%. Who benefits? The people who are holding assets. Well, in this case, it's up 3.69% year over year. Who benefits from that? Well, when you stake, the inflation goes to the people who do stake. So it incentivizes people to stake because then they get more Hex. Excuse me. So in this case, how you can earn 38% is because there's only about 10% of people who 10% of Hex that is staked. So the other 90% is not staked. The other 90% inflates, but all the inflation across that 90% is just collected and given to that 10%, right? If everybody was staked, then everybody would earn 3.69%. So it's not like that, right? 90% is not earning anything, right? The other, all of their inflation is going to that 10%. Similar to people who own assets in this case, right? Cool. Now that we got a little understanding of Hex, let's understand a put option. A put option, you like my drawing here? Thumbs up for that. You should definitely subscribe for future drawings, right? That's the whole point. A put option is something that you can purchase or sell, and it benefits when the price of something goes down, right? So this is just the payoff diagram right here. So across the bottom, we have the share price, and that's what SH stands for, the share price, right? And this is just the nomenclature for a profit, right? So down here in red, it means we paid for it. Over here, it means right here is where you break even. When the price goes down in value, right, then you make money, and that's what this triangle is. Just so you get a basic understanding of what a put option is. You purchase it, right, it costs this much money. However, in the case of Hex, it's not costing you any additional money. You're getting a free put option. So let's understand how that actually works. Where you benefit where the price goes down. Your emotional state, right? You get a free put option on your emotional state. What does that mean? Well, let's understand the psychology in the market when the market goes up and then when the market goes down. When we have a big run-up in prices, whether that's in the stock market or something else, right? The prices are really going up. You have people that are excited, right? You have people that are, I was going to draw out excited, but we'll just scribble here and pretend that's excited. People's moods, right, are much higher. Anxiety tends to be lower. Stress tends to be lower, right? For people who own crypto or for people who own assets that go up in value, whether that is real estate, right, and you have, you know, a tripling in a couple of years, or you have in crypto where you have a tripling in a couple months, or in stocks where you know, I owned Tesla, right? So you have a big run up in 2020, 2019, right? So you're getting multiple X in that 24-month period, right? Whatever it is, things are euphoric. People are excited. Mood is high. You're like, I'm the fucking man, right? Now, what is the antithesis of that? Or what is the opposite? What's happening when the market's going down? People's stress increases. Depression increases. Anxiety increases. Thoughts and actual suicides increase. Well, how does this actually represent a put option that comes with staked Hex positions through neurotransmitters? Now, those things that we all just mentioned, those emotional states, right? like dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, right? You got pleasure, you're feeling good, your serotonin, right? All of those things. So let's go back over here through a little example. Assume you have a Hex stake and you're earning about 40% on it, right? 38%. And what ends up happening in a down market, say the market's down by 20%, right? 30%. Let's just be super aggressive. Let's say it's down by 30% or 40%. Let's say it's down by 40%. Perfect. When the market's down by 40%, right, people are stressed out who own things that are going down by 40%. Their anxiety is high. Their depression increases. Suicide rates increase, right? Things like that. What happens in Hex stake? Well, your shit is still increasing in value by 40% a year. Everybody else is down 40%, and you're basically flat throughout the course of the year. Everybody else lost 40% of their bag, and you're just sitting there because you didn't. What do you think happens to these hormones, these neurotransmitters? Right? You get an increase in dopamine, serotonin, and ephedrine. There's also GABA, which has a calming effect. When you're confident in what you're doing, you increase GABA levels. When you're confident you're making good decisions, right? Your GABA levels, because you have that calmness that you're not losing 40% of the money you put in. Even if there's a 80% drop in the market, what happens? You only drop by half of what everybody else drops. Because everybody else is down 80%, you're down 40%, 42%, right? That is exactly how Hex, staked Hex specifically, includes a free put option. In traditional legacy, right, you've got to pay for this shit. Like I've used options many times. Used to trade options. They cost money if you purchase them, right? And that is included when you stake them, which is awesome. So if you found this video interesting and you know somebody who's new or looking to get into Hex or learning about Hex, take a second, share this video with them, because the psychology, the emotional state is what stops 99.9% of people from investing. So if you're already in Hex, share this video with somebody else who's thinking about getting into Hex, so we can expand the community, because this right here is where it's at. The emotions that are caused by changing these neurotransmitters, right? That nobody else is talking about this. Take a second, share this video with them to give them a better idea of what is actually going on. You can get rid of that negative side of the market crash because your shit is still increasing. Period. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, there's links down below if you'd like to support, but your time here is far more important than any support, so anything else you can do. So thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.